In today's digital age, our identity is the new currency. Safeguarding personal information in this extremely virtual world that we live is key. The more we are online, the more vulnerable we become offline. And securing money is directly related to securing your identity. Just a bank account won't cut it anymore. Now, why am I telling you all of this? Because today on the program, we're going to be discussing what is identity theft. Identity theft occurs when someone impersonates you and uses your personal information to commit fraud and gain other financial benefits. Your name, your home address, email address, password, social security number, Aadhaar number, driving license, the list is really long, can be easily leaked. All of these or some of these can be procured and then abused for several reasons that will cost you later.
So we thought we'd bring you some real-life examples of how this has taken place in the last few years, just to give you a taste. We're going to take you all the way back to 2022, when very prominently, several Indians complained on social media that unaccounted loans were actually appearing within their credit history, even as they themselves had never borrowed any money. This is from the Indiabulls-owned Dhani Loans and Services. Fraudsters had reportedly used PAN details, and they'd used those details to take out instant loans in other people's names. People actually faced show cause notices for defaulting on their loans, and these are all loans, remember, that they never took. Their identity was stolen. There's one more example we're going to bring you here. 2018, a private employee, Naveen Jyoti, filed a police complaint alleging that fraudsters had used all of his personal information to obtain a credit card. This is from SBI, State Bank of India, in his name. Fraudsters used the credit card. They spent 88,000 rupees. Police conducted an entire investigation and fraudsters involved were apprehended in this case. But it's not just normal people, and that's really what we want to highlight. Anyone can come under the spell of identity thieves. Even celebs have fallen prey in the past. Kim Kardashian, a prominent example. She spoke about how ID theft took place with her back in 2014. You had a certain man, his name was Luis Flores Jr., he's 19 years old. He called up American Express and he said that Kim Kardashian or Kim K's social security number, he modified all of it, her addresses were modified so that his own was put instead and so that he could receive all of her new cards. And these examples, the ones we're bringing you, are just a few examples. India has the third highest number. We're really scaring our audiences this morning, but we want you to be aware. India has the third highest number of users that have been compromised. Two other countries, US and Iran, stand in front of us.
Not scaring at all, actually. This is just to sort of bring the information out there and to bring you and make you aware of the fact that this is happening all around us. So you need to be alert. But what exactly is identity stolen? How does it happen? Now, over the years, identity thieves have become, the methods have become much more complex. There are numbers of ways in which they actually do it, using data breach to steal electronic records. That's a valid one, goes into the dark web. You never know what happens to it after that. Utilizing online methods such as there is adware, malware, spam, all of that. Also acquiring your personal records from a victim's workplace or just an innocent call that you will get from a customer service saying, sir, we want to sell you this and that. Could you give us these details? And there you go. You've not just lost your identity, you've lost a lot of money.
Yeah, your wallet. If your wallet or your purse ever goes missing, it could have been taken to obtain all of your ID cards, your credit cards, your bank cards. Swiping personal information shared on unsecured websites, that's another big one. Public Wi-Fi networks. You're going in somewhere, suddenly the option of using Wi-Fi appears. Being careful about that. Purchasing personal details from an inside third-party source, such as a company employee with access to credit applications. To understand the myriad of ways further, we have with us on the show two guests to take us deeper.
We've got Advocate Khushbu Jain with us, a cyber law expert and a Supreme Court lawyer. Also with us is Dr. Muktesh Chandar, IPS. He's a retired IPS officer, ex-DGP Goa and cyber expert as well. Both Khushbu and Muktesh Chandar have been regular on TBC and we've been trying to decode lots of scams over here. But Khushbu, let me begin with you. You wrote a very interesting article recently on what these identity thefts are. And the eye-opener for me really there was that it's not just one kind. if you look into it and if you think about it, even deep fakes are identity theft of a sort. Even, impersonating someone is an identity theft of some sort. But at the moment, how prevalent is this and how can one really go about it?
You have raised a very valid point. We are living in the age of digital. It's a digital era that we are living into, and identity, a digital identity becomes a very paramount here, because practically now today you and me would not go and show our face, and the trust comes over here. The trust comes with the identity, and that digital identity plays a very important role. Tomorrow we are talking about getting into meta world. So here identity. Now, how these criminals are doing it, I was listening both of you talking about that, how this happens, and it's absolutely how this happens. They steal your identity, identity card, and then they make use of it. There is identity theft, there is identity fraud, then there is synthetic identity. And now with combining all of these things, it becomes very difficult for anybody to catch hold of these criminals. Now, if I talk about identity theft, that's nothing but stealing your information. And by stealing your information, they can utilize that information for their benefit. Like, for example, I steal your credentials, I steal your banking details or your card number and your PIN. Now I can make use of it. Identity fraud. Fraud is something where I can create with your identity, I create another bank account. I take loan on your name. So practically, I am the one who's taking it, but I am benefited, but drawback comes to you. Number two. Number three, that comes is synthetic identity. Now, synthetic identity is nothing but combination. It can be a combination of some real numbers, and then I generate some additional number to it. So practically, I'm not impersonating Sonal or Khushbu, but with that identity, I'm creating another one. So there would be less chances of people complaining. Here is where the problem will come, that they drain the economy or our banking systems or others, or they commit a crime, and at the same time, they will go completely scot-free. These are the three. Now, with deepfake and AI, this will become, the misuse of these fake identities will become more paramount, because, see, one is I'm stealing your identity. Second is, now I have your voice, I can make your deepfake. Combination of this, even when you do KYC, even when I have to give a call, I have to orchestrate a crime, I am impersonating your voice also. So practically all layer of measures which I tell you to secure yourself are getting yeah, absolutely. So this, with technology, I think it's high time that we need to understand at the very initial stage, and at the same time, we need technological measures. Along with it, we need our systems to be foolproof. And for that, I think Digital Data Protection Act is one good move that has come up, that sharing of data without your permission and some security measures that data fiduciaries, the companies, have to follow, will bring in at least some security sense over there, and our data, your and my data, which is in the hands of the company, is not seamlessly shared without any obligation or accountability for that matter.
Okay. Thank you, Khushbu. You've kind of provided us with a overview of the different kinds of issues that can take place, the different kinds of theft that can happen. And that's a new one. I really want to highlight that for our audiences, the synthetic identity theft that can now take place, the creation of a new identity. Let's go over to Dr. Muktesh for a second. Doctor, tell our audiences this. You're sitting at home and you get the first inkling that something could have taken place. What do you tell our audiences to do? I ask you that because if you just Google it, one of the first things that comes up is place a credit freeze if you can. But I just want to ask you, which of the actions you should take immediately are the ones that are lighter, which are reversible, and which will be irreversible, so you should really make sure that something has taken place before you do them?
Thank you, Toya. But the problem here we are discussing is synthetic identity theft. The problem here is that if there is a victim, a pure identity theft has taken place, then you can always raise information to the police and 1930 cybercrime center, reporting center on a portal. Within 3 hours, the chances of reversal of your money are very, very high. But in case of a synthetic identity theft, there is no real person involved. It is your information which has been used and which is mixed with some other fictitious identity, and then the case of a synthetic identity theft comes in. So therefore, here the section 66 of IT Act will not be applicable because there is no real victim. It's a synthetic person. Uh, Therefore, the chances of getting caught are very less in this kind of thing. And this synthetic identity is used to obtain credit card loans, to obtain car loans, and commit all kinds of financial frauds, including money laundering. And there is no real victim involved. The real victim may be the bank itself. So the problem today is that at
Right.
every shop we go, they will ask your mobile number. Now, for example, I even have a mobile in my hand, but I don't. I say I don't carry a mobile. So the store will say, no, no, you'll get some points. You have your mobile. I say that it is not for you. So do not share your information just like that. When you share your Aadhaar card for some authentication purpose, use use masked Aadhaar card where all the digits are not visible. And the problem also is that such data is available on dark web. One rupee per Aadhaar card is available. So one has to be careful. For example, how many SIM cards are being used in your name? You can check that online. So maybe you applied for one SIM card and 9 more are being used in your name because that same Aadhaar card was used with another photo and another address. So one has to be careful in sharing the personal data.
Right.
And as Khushbu was mentioning, in DPDP Act has been promulgated, but so far the rules have not come. So effectively, it is still not applicable in many ways because the rules have not been issued in this kind. The last point I want to make here is that Aadhaar-based authentication. Even today, many places, the Aadhaar is only used for target delivery of services. For authentication purpose, which is if your Aadhaar is connected to your mobile number and somebody is using, then the OTP will come on your mobile. That is where the complete authentication will take place. So the synthetic identity theft fraud can be stopped or reduced considerably by using multi-factor authentication, by using biometric authentication, and also OTP based authentication of the identity.
Right. So all valid points there, Dr. Chandar, but let me bring in Khushbu back in the conversation. Khushbu, we live in a 10-minute world. 10-minute delivery, 10-minute loan, 10-minute authentication, 10-minute for getting a house, 10-minute for getting an insurance. These quick ways that we sort of pride ourselves in, these quick ways that India is going to be, the leap in the digital world, and then to expect people to sort of not have the complete identity back up in place. Digital literacy, a major issue in a country like ours. So what exactly is the way to move forward here then?
Number one, awareness. All of us need awareness that how much data can impact, how data can be misused. In case if it is a misuse, what one has to do. As rightly said earlier by you and sir as well, that people in the garb of getting some benefits, some scheme or timely delivery, we are okay in sharing our data seamlessly wherever possible. You need to understand that sharing of data can be very detrimental when it comes to any kind of crime that is happening on you. Like, I'll give you one very small example. If I have more data about you, it will be very easy for me to make you believe in anything that I'm saying, to make you trust me. So that's where I think with digital literacy, we need to have as I said before also, we need to have awareness that none of us share our data seamlessly wherever possible, restricted, limited to the purpose for which it is being required, where it is necessary, for the kind of services that you're taking. Like, for example, if I'm calling for Uber, I need to provide my location then and there. But I need not provide Uber my location, my access to my phone gallery, access to my my phone book, or for that matter, any other information, or seamless sharing of information. It can be at the time I'm utilizing the app, only restricted to that. So I think all of us utilizing phone, utilizing technology need to understand how to keep that secure. Do not share your passwords. Do not do screen sharing. I think these are the things which are been there from past 10 years. But now is the time when we are so dependent on technology that we need to learn how to make best use of it, at the same time, how to keep ourselves secure. Even if you get technology, if you and me are not aware about it and how to make use of it, it won't work.
Yeah.
Identity fraud, one can still make out, one can still complain.
Yeah.
Synthetic fraud will be the biggest challenge that government will face tomorrow. All of us will face tomorrow. We can't go back to the days where we don't have digital aspect to it and we, physically go to the bank. I think 4 of us would not go to bank today to do things. And, we want even the bank account to be open sitting at home and things to be done. Now, if somebody steals my identity, it will create a problem. Now, if somebody creates a synthetic identity, practically our banking system will go bust. They would not be able to take such huge losses. Our country's economy will go standstill if such kind of things keep on happening. So I think that's where we need to keep a stop. Some basic awareness, hygiene awareness, as you and me have to keep ourselves aware about. That would be, do not share your unnecessary information. Keep yourself safe. Be vigilant in checking your credit card histories.
Yeah.
Even your whether some loan is done or not. There are some portals created by Government of India. Go over there and check yourself. Ministry of Telecommunications, Sanchar Bharti has got a portal where you can go and check where TEFCOP and Chakshu, where you can go and check if some other phone number is issued by your Aadhaar card. At the same time, be vigilant, search yourself online. I'm saying search yourself online weekly. There can be an aspect where somebody has created your identity even there. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Search your organization's identity. Search your position and your organization if somebody is using that as well for, as a step forward. These are the things which can be done at our end. Now, when it comes to banks, when it comes to financial institutions, when it comes to other areas, I think they have to bring in more sophisticated KYC. There has to be
Yes.
more of technology. And
Yeah.
we can't, as I said, now this is literally 20% of what can be done by you and me. The rest 80% still stays with
Yeah.
at the level where the companies are residing, and they have to bring in those technologies in place.
Absolutely.
The goal of providing services and taking the data, they cannot not use of technology and think of security, because in today's world, security is something which is paramount, and nobody can ignore that part.
Okay.
And the third that goes is, if something happens, yeah.
No, Khushbu, I do want to say, you and Dr. Muktesh, let's just quickly summarize that for the audiences, because the brunt of what both of you have said is that it is really our systems that need to upgrade themselves. We'll do that for our audiences. We'll tell them the 2080 breakdown, but you've said that the brunt of change that needs to take place, especially as synthetic identity fraud becomes a thing, creating new personas via AI becomes a thing. It's really our systems that need to upgrade themselves. But I love that you've also told our audiences, go home, Google, take care, look at your name, look up to see, use the government websites to see how many, for example, SIM cards are taken out in your name. Do the basics too on your case. All right, Khushbu and Dr. Muktesh, thank you for joining us this morning, for bringing us this. We're going to head into a